Back in 1978, he looked at Manhattan and basically said, hold on a second.
Mm.
What if all that chaos, the skyscrapers jammed together, the traffic, what if that's actually its design secret?
Right. Not a failure, but the core of its identity.
Yeah, how it works. For Koolhaas, buildings weren't just structures, they were machines of desire.
Yeah.
And the city just thrived on these unexpected, almost surreal combinations.
And our deep dive today, it's inspired by Miguel Velez's article Delirious Bangkok. It takes that Koolhaas concept, programmatic madness, this idea of things being wildly mixed up,
Yeah.
and applies it directly to the Thai capital. So our mission really is to help you understand Bangkok not as a city that needs planning correction.
Not something to be fixed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But as a site of what Velez calls vernacular surrealism.
Mhm.
Just imagine an urban place where strict zoning rules, they barely exist.
Okay.
Where boundaries just sort of dissolve and architectural styles and uses blend together in the most unpredictable ways. We want to uncover how Bangkok generates its own, brilliant urban intelligence, where what looks like irrationality and constant improvisation are actually the very tools it uses to build itself.
Okay, so if we're talking about programmatic madness, what does that actually feel like on the ground in Bangkok? Because, for someone like me used to thinking of cities with neat zones, business here, residential there, this sounds like, a complete sensory overload.
Oh, it absolutely is. And what's fascinating, truly fascinating here, is that in Bangkok, these contradictions, they aren't errors, they're actually brilliant strategies.
Strategies? How so?
Well, you'll see luxury condominiums standing right beside, tin roof slums.
Right next to each other.
Literally. And Buddhist temples, they aren't just on their own neat plots of land. They might be nestled beneath massive highway flyovers.
Wow.
Or even inside shopping malls.
Inside a mall. Seriously.
Seriously. And it's completely normal, everyday stuff to find a street vendor cooking up amazing satay just feet away from a gleaming Louis Vuitton window display.
That's quite the image.
It is. And these aren't planning failures, you see. They're vivid reflections of Thailand's incredible sociocultural adaptability and its spiritual worldview, its dynamic, often spontaneous, informal economies. It all comes together.
That's incredible. So how do we even begin to understand this really unique kind of urbanism? What lenses does the article use to help us sort of make sense of it all?
It takes a really broad approach, which I think is necessary here.
Mhm.
First, through urban studies, it helps us see how Bangkok's lack of rigid zoning creates this constantly evolving urbanism.
Mm.
It's driven by negotiation, by people just finding ways to use space, appropriation, and by, informality.
Okay, so informality isn't the problem here.
Exactly. Informality is an alternative.
Interesting.
An alternative way of organizing things.
Interesting.
Then